Okay, so this is Tammy's custom tutorial in regards to your final project. And so this is how it should look like. So like this, like that. When you zoom in, the quality is really good quality. When you look at the geometry, really smooth, and it's not what we call smooth proxy. This is just a geometry without the smooth on it. I'll discuss that later, but just for reference. And let me see here. Let me just undo that. All right, so you got your inside, which is this one right here. Yeah. Hold on. Okay, so you got your inside right here. Then you got your outline right here. This will be in white. Let me get rid of this. All right, and here's your text, and the other text, and your paw, and your paw at, I guess, nubs, the little nubs or whatever. So this and this, and let me turn on the wireframe so you can see it. Okay, so this is what you're going to be making. Okay, and here is your Illustrator file that you sent to me. Great job, you know. Okay, first let's review your Illustrator file. I made the modifications where, for example, I turned this into an outline because it needs to be done in order to have a nice transition between the whiskers and the face. So it's connected, okay? Then you have the inside, the pink face, which is called main inside pink, solid only. And the outline, again, that is main thick white outline only. I should have named it something easier. You know what? Let's do that right now then. Main, or you know what? White outline only, and pink solid only. Okay. All right, there you go then. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna select the outline, just the outline. This guy right here. Select that and hit I think it's Command for Macs, and for PCs it's Control C. So I don't know if it's Command or Control. It's one of those. This annoys me. All right, so yeah, either Control C or is it Command C? Test it out and find out. All right, we copied it. I'm gonna hide it. Now let me get rid of this out of the way into a fresh scene. Here's our fresh scene, okay? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into Create and SVG, which I put over here, okay? You should remember how to do that, right? Yourself, and have all your icons. Anyway, so it's Create and SVG. All right, so I'm gonna click on that, and remember this thing that pops up. What I'm gonna do is make sure I'm in the attribute editor, click on SVG1, okay, out of all these tabs, SVG1, then this here where it says paste, I'm just gonna click that, and there we have it. See, perfect. Now, as you can see, the quality is pretty bad. It's low quality, right? So what I'm going to do is I have particular settings that is optimal for your specific scene, and so it'll help you and save you from a lot of headache. Now, for example, first thing, we need to go into the geometry. We're going to set the curve resolution to 16. And when we do that, it just gives it more resolution. See? It's very nice. But if you notice, around the edges, there's a whole lot of lines. It's kind of redundant. Now, under the distance over here, I'm going to put in 1. So it cleared up some of it down here. See? Here, and here, and here. Let me redo it. See? So it does help in that sense. But still maintains the overall nice high resolution shape. Okay, next. 1 second. I gotta double check my original. Right. Yeah. Okay. Then what I did was, you know what? First, let's go to shading and use default material because that black color throws me off. I can't see too well. Then what I did was I'm gonna hide this right here because we're done with that. So it's 16 and 1. Okay. And then under extrusion, okay, your extrusion distance, we're gonna set that to 0.65. That basically means how thick it is. See? Before it was thicker, but now we're gonna make it about a little bit half of that because it's just visually it'll just look too bulky. That's the reason why, and that's what the extrude distance does. Okay? Very similar to our Adidas project, actually. And then the next thing we're gonna do is our bevels. We're gonna turn that on. Watch what happens. That looks pretty awful. And what we're gonna do is we have to fine tune it. Now, the specifics is where under bevel distance, okay, let me zoom in so you can kind of see what it does. Let's set it to a much smaller number, like 0.037. Watch what happens. Boom. Nice and tight, like that, okay, and the distance is only so much, like this much. That's what the bevel distance does, okay? And we had set it to outer bevel. Do not set it to inner bevel. That's going to screw things up. It just goes crazy. And I don't want to click it because it might screw up with the file. I mean the mesh. It might not undo it sometimes. And then the inside, it does it nicely too. Okay, so that's that. So again, bevel distance 0.037. All right. And your bevel offset, we're gonna make it 0.043. Okay, so if you notice, it's less bubbly and more of a tighter bevel and goes straight across. Whereas before, it was like this, you know, which is still kind of nice, you know, but I think having it like, you know, 0.0043, it looks more modern and slick, you know. So that's what I recommend. Bevel offset 0.043, bevel distance 0.037, so you get that nice tight bevels. Okay, so that's what that is. All right, so that's pretty much it for the outline. Okay, those are your settings. Those are the optimal settings. Trust me, I spent a lot of time, and that's pretty much as good as it gets, in my opinion. Okay, nice and clean. Next, we need to pull up the next file. which is the pink solid only. Let's click that. Just this. All right, this guy right here. And we're gonna copy it. You know, copy. And then let's go into our Maya scene. And I'm gonna do the same thing, the SVG create. Okay. Then I'm gonna hit the paste. Boom. And here it is right here. And then I'm going to, the settings for the pink face is actually the same thing as our outline. Our, you know, outline mesh. So let's go under mesh settings. Let's set the curvature to 16. Okay, so you get a nice curvature. Remember. And then our distance, let's set it to 1. So get rid of some of this redundant lines. See? But it still keeps our it maintains our original shape really nicely. Okay. And then I'm gonna hide that. And then our extrusions, extrusion distance, remember I said it was 0.65. Okay. See? Our extrusion distance. Everything else, leave it alone. Our bevels, enable the bevel. Alright, so we have a outer bevel, and we just have to tweak the bevel profile. Alright, because it's too bulgy, bubbly. So bevel distance again, that was 0.037. Watch what happens. Nice, tight bevels. And then the bevel offset, instead of being kind of bubbly, like I mentioned before, it's gonna be where we make it tighter, 0.043, remember? Watch the dial. Much tighter and straighter, see? Very crisp. And you catch some nice highlights coming around when you do your lighting rendering. Okay, so that's that. Alright, so that was for your face. Let's name this. Let's name this pink face. And let's name this one white outline. Okay, now we have to make it so that the pink face fits inside of the white outline. The way I do that is I'm going to hit space bar, and I'm going to go in here into the front panel. Okay, and so don't mind all of this. This is the information that is made when we did the SVG thing. Just leave that alone for now. Don't delete history just yet. Okay, so we grab the pink face, and this is the numbers I would like you to punch in to fit it in nicely. Or you know what, I can show you that too. Let me show you that. So we got this right here, and when I select it, its controller or its point of origin is in the corner, and I can kind of go like this and try to fit it in, and I could try to scale it, hit R, and you know, remember this guy right here, don't pull on this, do not pull on that, only this, so it scales proportionally in the X and the Y. Remember that I taught you guys? But you see how it's scaling from here, kind of like in Photoshop or Illustrator. We want to center that. Remember I told you center pivot? Right there. And if you, just in case if you forget, modify, center pivot, remember? Alright, so that centers it. And I can hit R. I'm going to yank on that. Okay, and see how we're slowly but surely starting to fit that in. Like that. Maybe like that. And then I'm gonna yank some more. Okay. I'm gonna look at my 3D world and let go. So I got a nice fitting. Let me yank this out a bit. Alright, that works. Okay. Again, so I centered the pivot. I went inside my front view and I kind of scaled it, pulling on this. Remember, because if I pull on this, the scale Z, which is pushing out this way, the thickness, it won't get affected. It's still at its default 1. Only the X, which is this way, and the Y, which is this way, these two ways get moved. Right, so which is this one. See right here? See? And if you look here, the thickness doesn't get affected. Do not pull on this. Do not pull on that. Do not pull on that. Only pull on this. Alright? Super important. Anyway, so the setting I had for this one was pretty close. Mine was actually 0.925. You know, pretty much same thing. And my translate was actually 1.468. I'm just being neurotic. And 0.16. You don't have to do this, but I am, because that's what I had. Huh? Y? Negative? Oh. Alright, so translate Y is negative 0.016. Boom. Okay. So you don't have to punch in the exact numbers. You could just, you know, eyeball it as best as you can and fit it in. And if you get frustrated, then you can punch in the numbers. So something like that. I like this much. You got fat and kind of skinnier. You know, nice layering. And in the behind, you have this right here. Okay. Something like that. So that's that. And then next, let's work on the pause. Alright, so for the pause, I'm gonna go into After Illustrator. I'm gonna hide all of that. Let's go into your paw group. I'm gonna select that. I'm gonna open it, and I'm gonna just select the white paw. See? I'm gonna hide everything else, just that. I'm gonna go copy it, and I'm gonna go into Maya again. Same procedure. I'm gonna make a SVG. I'm gonna paste it. I need to add resolution. I believe the setting for this was high. I put it to 20 because it has a lot of curvature. I don't want to lose the resolution, you know. And then what else? Alright, so it's huge right now, so don't worry about that. Distance, let's set it to 1. That didn't do anything. Well, I guess it doesn't matter for the distance already for that one. Then for your extrusions. For your extrusions, it's gonna be 0.65. Okay, so we match the thickness. And your bevels. Enable bevels. Alright. It's gonna be outer bevel. As you can see, it's pretty bubbly, and we don't want that. Let's set our bevel distance to 0.037. And then our bevel offset to 0.043. Right, very nice. Finally, after that, let's go back into our SVG. Because before we were in geometry, Now we're going back to the SVG, the vector file itself. And that one, the way we're going to scale it is, we are not going to scale it traditionally in the X, Y, or Z. Alright, because that screws with the overall bevel look. So what we're going to do is, under the SVG, we're going to set the SVG size to 2.75. See? And then what I'm going to do, hold on one second, let me just double check something. Right, yeah, that's true. Okay, good. Alright, so that's good. Now let's name this. Let's name this white paw. Okay. Alright, so we named it white paw. And the size is 2.75. Good. And then, you know what, later on if you want, you could scale it a little bit smaller. Let's say 2.6 or 2.5. Alright, but the thickness is still exact. So, you know, just FYI, you could make it to 2. A smaller, cuter paw if you want. Okay. So, just for you to know. Alright, good. Then we have to put in its paw nubs. I guess you could call it that. I'm gonna go into Illustrator and I'm gonna show all the nubs. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna go copy it. I'm gonna go into here, click on the SVG. I'm gonna go paste. There's our nubs. It's huge. And let's first set our curve resolution to 14, so it's nice and smooth. The distance probably won't matter. If I go 1, see, it doesn't do anything. Oh, I guess only for more complex scenes or complex shapes it does. Alright, then let's go under extrusions. Extrusions. Set it to extrusion distance 0.65 so it matches everything else. Then let's go under our bevels. Enable bevels. Remember, same settings. 0.037. Bevel offset 0.043. There we go. Alright, so that's good. Now we'll scale it down. For this one specifically, if you scale it down to say 2, it should be just right. Okay, main thing is the width is matching. And then from there you just yank it out a bit. Let's go into the front view. And let me turn on wireframe. That we can see default material. That we can just see better. Again, that's shading. Use default and wireframe unshaded. On PCs it's Alt 5. On Macs I think it's what, Option 5, I believe. Anyway, so I'm gonna fit it in like so. Okay, just like your reference, your main drawing. If I go in here, looks like that. Okay, let's take a look. And And here, you'll notice how we have this thing going on. I think we should fix that. That's because we had the bevel profile pushing out and not in. We could have it push in, but let's just stick to fixing this. We're going to, it's good practice on messing with vertices anyway. So we're going to select it, right click, choose vertex, okay? Now make sure you're in the front, not in perspective. You go and do this in perspective, you're gonna screw up possibly. I'm gonna select a whole bunch, you know, left click and drag. Then I'm gonna carefully select these guys too, which is holding down the shift key, and I believe for PCs is control shift. Alright, that way you can select. But for Macs, I believe it's command. Is it command? Or is it or is it control? I forgot. But it's one of those. Yeah, it always messes with me with the PCs and Mac keyboards. Anyway, so again, control shift select, zoom in, and select, 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 and I'm carefully selecting, right? And I select, and I select, and I select, and I select. Okay. And then now I'm just gonna move it out of the way, like that. There we go. Time for this one. So I'm gonna select, and I hold down Control Shift. Again, for Macs, it's probably Command, I believe. It could be Control Shift too. Anyway, so that way it selects it and it doesn't deselect the other ones. And select, 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 select. Alright, good. Then we're gonna move out of the way. Again, we're in front panel view, not in perspective. We have to be in front. It's much more accurate in terms of selection and movement, because it won't mess with the other 3D space. Only X and Y, so it won't push into the 3D world. All right, good. So I deselected it. Just basically hold on the right mouse button and go like say object mode, and there you have it. All right, so let's name it. I'm gonna name it Paw Nubs. No. Paw Nubs. Paw Nubs. And might go something like that. So you could use your artistic freedom. Okay. And then I'm gonna select this one, the white paw and the paw nubs. Okay. And I'm going to group them. Edit, group, Control G. There we go. And I'm going to center it so it's easier to place and move it. And I believe I had it down like that, hit 5, something like this. You had it, yeah. And like I said before, you know, you can make it smaller. Let me go under, say for example, attribute, under SVG, and let's say make it 2.5. Ooh. Yeah, I gotta do that then. And then grab this, make it 1.5 or 1.75. Yeah. And then I can move it around here, move it like that, move it like that. Again, I'm in the 3D world, but I'm moving specifically up and across. Okay. You could do it, but just very carefully. Alright, so there's our placement. And it was super fast to make adjustments. You grab it, you change the SVG size, and accordingly go from there. Alright, let's name this group main paw group for now. Later on, when we clean things up, we'll change things up for animation. But for now, this is what we're gonna do. Alright. And then, now let's add your text. Let's first save this. And I'm gonna zoom out, hide that, open up your text. And I also modified your text where you have the T, and you have the A, and you have all the other letters. Okay, they're their own was it compound shape or whatever. So I'm just gonna select the T and the A. I'm gonna copy it, and I'm gonna go back into Maya. I'm gonna make a SVG. I'm gonna paste it, and boom. Now for the T, the settings are a little bit different. I had put, say, 20, because there's a lot of curvature. And the distance, let's see, alright, it helped a bit. It cleaned up. Alright, so that's good. So that's 20, this and distance is 1, curvature 20, distance at 1. Let's not mess with the deformable mesh. Extrusions. Now, extrusion, distance, same distance at 0.65. Okay, so it's perfectly matching in terms of the thickness. And then bevels. Enable bevels, boom. Bevel profile, 0.037, and bevel offset, 0.043. Nice. Nice straight lines turning into a nice tight bevel like I mentioned before. Very nice. Okay, good, we got that. Now we just gotta make it smaller. Again, we're gonna go into our SVG, into the SVG tab. And this one particular is at 6. Okay. And then we have to kind of eyeball and place it. I want to center pivot it. Then I want to hit the space. Actually, you know what? Let me pull it out first so we can see it better. Maybe around this much distance, maybe a little bit more like that. Then now let's go into the front panel and let's place it like that. Something like maybe around here. From what I remember, you know, it's up to you. I mean, it is your design. It's your brand identity, logos. So, you know, but something like that. Okay. And then, so that's done. If you want, you could yank it out a bit more. It's very nice. Finally, the creative designs, which is right here. So creative design, you're gonna, hold on. So I'm just selecting everything. I press A to be here. So I can select and verify all of it selected. All of it. If you look closely, they're all one mesh. I combined them. Not all as one, but like the A, this was one shape, and the A was one shape, so I made it one. So things like that have to look out for. Okay, good. Copy it. Make sure everything's here. Good. I named it. Good. Now, in the 3D world, make another one. SVG. Same process. Click. Here it is. Okay. Now we have to add resolution because it's all busted. Let's make it 10. Make it 20. Ooh, what happened here? It's not updating. Something went wrong. Let me delete that. Let's go back. Okay. You know what? Fine. I'm gonna select it manually. Alright. So everything's selected. Hit copy it. Let's go back in here. Click on SVG. Click on paste. Good. Something went wrong before. Curve resolution. Remember I had set it to 14. Distance at 1. Okay, ooh, okay, no. I'll leave that alone. I'm not gonna mess with that. Alright, so curve resolution 14, distance, leave it alone. Alright, extrusions. For this one, I had it set to 0.5. And then for the bevels, alright. The bevels on this one is a little bit different. I had set to inner bevel. And, oh, first we got to turn it on. And it looks really messed up. But don't worry for now. So enable bevels, inner bevel. And under the settings, we're gonna bevel distance. We're gonna tighten it up so it doesn't overlap and just blow up. 0.037. And then the offset, 0.043. Boom. So it's the same numbers as the other ones. It's just that now it's an inner bevel, not an outer bevel. Then you see this going on. It's just an artifact. We'll fix that. Okay, so again, same numbers here. Extrude distance 0.5. Curve resolution 14. Under the SVG, right, I left that alone. Yeah, I didn't mess with the SVG because it makes things worse actually. Because you have a lot of vector lines going around, and if I try to mess with it, see, it goes really out of whack. It can't maintain it for whatever reason. So yeah, I undid that. So what I did was I had to basically scale it the old-fashioned way. You know, hit R for scale, and I yanked on it, and this one right here. I'm in the front view just in case. I'm gonna yank on that right here. And that one was set to say a 0.170. Okay. I'm going to center the pivot. I'm going to move it forward. I press F to zoom in onto it. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to pull it up. And I'm going to just kind of place it like this, place it like that. Maybe push it in a bit more. Again, that was Alt 5 or Option 5 to show wireframe, so you can kind of see it. So there it is. And if you notice that, it didn't go away just yet. Alright, fine. Let me grab this. Okay. I didn't have that problem before. Why is it having it now? Strange. Let me first, I'm gonna put a mesh display, soft and hardened edges. That's gonna help with the shading. That's a little wonky. See, like you see this thing's going on here. If I apply the soft and harden, it'll smooth that out. Say put it to say I don't know 40, 30. Ooh, I'm not gonna keep on doing that. I closed it, and then to mess with it, you go into the channel box, right? Okay. For example, I select it, and here's our inputs. Remember, I talked to you guys about the history. Here's our poly soft edge, the one I just did. Click on it. I'm gonna set it to say 30 or 20. Yeah, 20. Now it's gone. Or maybe 15. Now it's really gone. Good. Alright, but I still have this issue. I didn't have it before, but now it's here. Sometimes if I select it, right, because what happens is the face, they overlap due to the extrusions. It's too tight. Right here. See that? So let me select this. Let me go into the attribute editor and then geometry. Maybe I'm under the bevel distance. Maybe if I make it a little bit higher, like a 8 instead of 37, put a 0.038. No, that's not. Yeah, that's not it. The offset, maybe make it bigger. No, that makes it push in tighter. Let me make it say 40. Okay, see how that went away? See the overlapping? But there's some minor overlapping here. Let me zoom in on that so you can see better. See that? Ooh. See? Oh crap! Alright, so hopefully it saved it. Alright. Okay, looks like it saved it. Oh, except for this part. Let me fix that. I'm zooming in, I'm gonna... Oh, I didn't like that. Oh, man. Alright. So, anyway, I guess that's a good lesson. Don't do what I just did. Try mess with the vertices. So let me open it back up. Oh, look at that. It fixed it for me before it crashed. Good. Alright, whatever. Let me save this. Alright, so I saved it as a temporary file. Alright, so again, the way that we fixed that overlapping weird stuff going on was under the SVG. Alright, create design, the geometry, and what we did was under the bevel the bevel offset, right? Because before it was at 0.043, okay, and that's in terms of the tightness of it, you know, coming in tight, tapering in. So what I did was, instead of 0.043, I made it 0.040, and that made it looser, where it opened it up more. I'm not gonna mess with it because I don't want the computer to crash. So basically, that's what we did to get rid of that overlapping artifact. We made it wider so that the geometry doesn't crash into each other like that, which is 0.040. Okay. Alright, so there you go. And that's pretty much the modeling aspect. I'm gonna make another tutorial for the shading and the lighting, okay? So yeah, so pretty much this is it. And okay, good luck.